Jim Hancock here with PAXL and Help PANCE. I'm here to give you guys a little tip on how you should be dealing with your questions. This is really important. I want you guys to remember some basic ideas here. And the first is how we prepare to be test takers. Yes, you have to cover all the blueprint topics. You need to find out which ones you don't know. Make sure you know them. Absolutely. Do a good test bank. Yes. But the test bank must help you hone your test taking skills. This is very important. Number one, I'm just going to give you a different analogy, and I just want you to think of this. If you guys went to a football game, you'd see the quarterback, correct? And that quarterback, even if he was the best quarterback in the world, he'd been playing for 14 years. He'd be on the sideline before that game throwing that ball. If you went to practice, he'd throw it all day. Why? He can't figure it out after 14 years. What's his problem? He's got to keep throwing the ball? No, because he knows the importance of mechanics. You guys may not know that your subconscious brain can handle about 40,000 computations compared to about 400 for your conscious. Your subconscious is much faster. If you can get something to your subconscious where it just happens, your conscious mind is able to be free to work. Can you imagine if you had to think about all the different muscles that need to move for you to breathe? Or think about all the different muscles and nerves and everything and that has to be involved for you to walk? That's your subconscious mind. That's your deep mind. The more we can bring there when we talk about doing something over and over and over again, now the quarterback can throw the ball. He's not thinking about throwing the ball. It just happens. He's thinking of where the receiver is, who's the lineman who's about to tackle him, whatever it is. You now need to practice questions enough that you can get to that point so that when you're on the test, your test-taking rhythm is in place and all you're thinking about with your conscious mind is the information you need to get to. Now I'm going to use another example as well, and then I'm going to talk to you about the 3 steps I want you to use while tackling a question. Number 1, in my example, is ACLS. You guys all taken ACLS, correct? I was a paramedic in 1988, 10 years before I then became a PA for the last 20 years. I took ACLS at 17 years old the first time. And I'll tell you something, I'm a cardiology and internal medicine PA now. Do you think that I use ACLS all the time when I run a code? And the answer is no. As a paramedic I did, but no. I'm going to do what I think is right as the clinician based on what's in front of me. What is ACLS for then, if I'm not going to even use it? ACLS is there for when you're in a situation where you either don't do it on a regular basis, you don't have the knowledge if you're a paramedic as much as we would in a higher level, or maybe you're a PA who works in derm or something, you haven't done this in 20 years, but you walk in the hospital and you're the highest level of care. The same way I wouldn't want to biopsy anything, you wouldn't want me to biopsy something, God help, right? So it's just not in our wheelhouse, okay? What is ACLS? ACLS is a stepwise approach that you use going, I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this. It's something to fall back on when your conscious mind doesn't have the answer and you need a stepwise approach because you're freaking out because you don't know what's going on, right? Again, in cardiology, we're not going to use that. I'm just going to do what I think is right. What you need is not only the muscle memory of the quarterback, you also need the stepwise approach of an ACLS in case on your PANCE you freak out, okay? And you're not quite sure what to do. Because if you freak out too much, you spend 5 minutes, you lost 5 potential questions you would have gotten right. The one you're struggling with, you probably wouldn't have got right anyway. But the ones you didn't get to, you got those wrong for sure, right? Timing is important. And by the way, doing it over and over helps your timing as well. So when you start your question, this is what I want you to do. There's 3 stages. This is your ACLS protocol for a PANCE question. And use a test bank and do this over and over and over to the point where you don't think about it. Use a test bank that's written by PAs, written by people who wrote the PANCE itself, and is timed and allows you to have a real world situation. So find a test bank like that. Help PANCE Parenting does have that, but you can look for others as well. So what are you going to do? First thing, you're going to hit the question. The first part you're going to do is you're going to read the question and try to answer it. That's super easy, right? No problem. All right, maybe you get it right, maybe you don't. If you got it, we're good. There's nothing else to talk about. You got it, we're good, okay? You read the question, you can't answer it. What do you do then? You could flag it and come back to it, but before you do that, let's finish the ACLS protocol, okay? I don't know the answer. Fine. The first thing I do is reread the question that's being asked and make sure I'm answering the question that's being asked. So many times our mind will wander. We'll take our own jaunt through the woods that isn't even close to the path that the test item writer wanted for us. And we will just embellish things. And by the time we get to answering the question, we're not even answering the question that was asked. So look up and make sure you're answering the question that is being asked. You might find that you read a little too quick, you missed 2 or 3 words in there, and you're really not in the right boat, right? You're not in the right ballpark. Now, if you do that and you find that, wow, I am trying to answer the questions being asked, but I still can't, the next thing I want you to do is then think of what is your Achilles heel when it comes to test taking. Now, you won't know this unless you do a lot of test banks, and every single time you get a question wrong, there's a place you can review it, find out how you got it wrong, and address the fact that for you, it just so happens, and we all have this thing, there's something you're doing over and over and over again that's getting you questions wrong. Okay? I'm going to share with you guys because nobody's perfect. For me, it's reading too fast. So when I get there, I know if I go back up, I may not know the answer, but if I do know the answer, the mistake I probably made was miss the term initial or something because I read too quickly. Know your Achilles heel. Know what gets you in trouble. That's the third step. So I'm going to try to answer the question. If I can't answer it, I'm going to revert immediately to reviewing the question itself. Am I answering what is being asked? I'm going to look for my Achilles heel. Am I doing that problem? And if not, I'm going to flag it and I'm going to move on. Please do not spend any more time than that on a question. You have your 60 minutes. Doing your test bank will get your 60 minutes down well for you. And remember, this is a test question. It's not a real patient. If what's in the test question you would never do in real life, which is possible because this is an academic test, fine. No one's going to know you. Don't worry about it. It's not real. Just move on. Don't get upset with it. Don't get angry. The computer's not going to talk back to you. And if it's such a bad question that nobody's getting it right anyway, they're going to throw it out. So relax, move on, enjoy your test, and you guys will be successful. With that, guys, have a great day.